It's way past time I dispense some indiscriminate justice!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dark recesses of the Xel'Naga Caverns. We're going to be having a game here, a Zerg versus Protoss, and as you can see here, our Protoss in the very sensual orange colour is FXOdeL from the FXO Open Esports team. He's going to be against a blue Zerg up the top here in the top corner. This is, well, obviously the name says Kaj or something like that, but this is actually FOXMoon. So he's going to be playing here against Del. Now the situation for this particular game, obviously it's a little bit odd that a Korean will be playing against an Australian on the NA server, but this is actually before the NASL games. That's the one that Moon was playing as part of the opening of the NASL. So this is actually just a little bit of his warm-up here, and he's decided to play against Del. And as you can see here, this is actually the dummy account that that Moon actually used on the server when he actually played against Grubby, I believe it was, the first game to open up the NASL. So this is just a little bit of practice for Moon. Make sure he's got all of his timings right, his keyboards and his setting and all that sort of stuff is working nicely. And Del was wanting to help out, so here he is, and look at that, he's certainly giving him what for. He's harassing that drone there, just taking a few shots at it. Of course, it's always good to give a little shot at some drones or some workers of your opponent if you can, and here we go, he's still going to work on that drone. It's still taking a few shots there. Of course, it probably won't die. A high caliber player like Moon is unlikely to lose a worker from this sort of harass, especially given Moon's history, of course. And for those of you playing at home, of course, who don't know, Moon actually played in Warcraft 3, was a very popular Warcraft 3 player for a long time, was also known as the 5th race just because of how amazing he was. He did play Night Elf, and some other people don't actually know that in StarCraft 2 he actually started out playing Terran. So he made a little switch after finding out that that Zerg was actually a little bit better for his particular style of play, and we have seen him do relatively well. He hasn't been an outstanding sort of star in GSL or anything like that. He did come second in the IEM, which was a fantastic feat given that he had to climb over the top of some of the fantastic foreigners that were in that event, such as Australia's own Moonglade, or FXO's own Moonglade, of course. And that was just one of his few achievements that he's had so far. So nothing really majorly outstanding for Moon, but he's certainly climbing up there with his skills at the moment. So here on the Xel'Naga Caverns, we haven't really seen anything too fancy from either of these players just yet. I would assume that Del didn't really want to cheese or anything like that to ruin the fun of actually having a little warm-up game. Of course, as I mentioned, the point would have probably been to make sure that Moon was used to the lag and that sort of differences, that sort of thing that can occur when you're playing on a different server. As we can see there, the Zerglings have come up just to peek in at what is happening here at the front of the Protoss base, and as we can see, Del is not doing anything too fancy, as we mentioned before. He's only got that second gateway going up at the moment. Does have the 2 gas though, so I'm inclined to think this probably won't be some sort of 4-gate, although he did actually save a lot of chrono boost up, so he's going to chrono out this first sentry quite quickly, along with the warp gate tech. Now, Moon's actually grabbed his expansion here. He's going to have this one up pretty quickly there, of course. His build opened up with the Speedling expand, of course. As we can see there, the speed is just about complete. That'll give the Zerglings a little bit more mobility when they're running around trying to control the map. It's actually become a bit out of fashion these days to actually see a Zerg actually get the speed this quickly. It's become a point where a lot of the players actually decide that you know, they can use that 100 extra gas to either get their lair quicker, get some extra roaches out for defense, and you don't actually always need the speedlings out on the map. As long as you're active with actually moving your speedlings, your lings around, and actually controlling the skies with the overlords, you can actually get away with not having speed for a little bit longer, like sort of this sort of time period right about now is when you would see it get started, that sort of thing. But he's decided to go with this particular build for the moment. Meanwhile, Del has come out here, going to take this expansion pretty quickly here. He's going to do what looks to be a 3-gate sentry expand, getting a forge up inside the main base, and he's probably going to pop down 1, maybe 2 cannons if he's getting a little bit more defensive and we'll see if he is able to get that natural up and running. Now, of course, Moon has already gotten his natural going right there. It's doing quite well. He's got great saturation at the moment. Currently, if we have a look at the work count, we actually see that Moon is at 34 drones to 29 probes of Del, but of course, once Del gets this extra Nexus up, it'll probably start getting a little bit closer, but we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, a couple of Zerglings have decided to come in there. They do have the speed, of course, which we were talking about before, and they will be able to take some shots at this Nexus, but once this cannon completes, all the harass possible from that will be eliminated. But it looks as if some very interesting force fields there from Del, perhaps just getting a little bit panicked at the fact that the Lings looked like they were coming into the base there, and force fielded off. Wasted a few, you'd say, but he's definitely going to be safe. So Roach Warren is now coming through here for Moon. He's going to get that up and running. The drone saturation is still coming along. He's just had 6 drones pop out just now, so he's doing a great job of actually timing his droning, and we do see that is a very high quality skill that the high level players do display. So we've got an extra gate coming up here with another one. This is either going to be a 5 or maybe a 6 gate push, perhaps from Del. I'm not actually sure. A lot of the Protoss these days actually like to be very passive with their actual sort of gameplay. Of course, they generally like to get out some Colossus or some Void Rays to make sure that they have those power units, which can really crush through some of the Zerg units, which can get in greater numbers on the map, of course. So we'll see if Del goes for that style, or if he is going to go for some sort of timing with the with those extra gates coming along. No, there is a robotics, so we may see just a general sort of timing push, but nothing too specific. It does look as if he's going to have a little bit of a walk up here. No, he's just checking out what that Zergling was up to. So the assimilator now done. He's going to have some extra gas on the way. We do see tunneling claws along with burrow for the roaches, so Moon's going to be well prepared for this attack if it comes along from Del, and he's going to be able to burrow the roaches, get their health back, and also make them move around if there's some force fields obstructing their path. So we'll see what he gets up to here. Meanwhile, Del just coming along, blocking off the John the Translator secret or common knowledge hallway, I think it's called. Yeah, that's the one. And we are going to see perhaps a little bit of pressure here from Moon. He's got some roaches coming along. They do have their mohawks and their coloured hair, so they're going to be coming along. And there is one cannon out here to possibly stop any sort of progression of the roaches underground. So it's definitely not going to be that sort of attack, but it will be something. And it looks as if he's going to come inside here. Just being a little bit careful there with those Lings, making sure they don't get sacrificed for no reason at all. Force fields going down. The roaches are a little bit out of position here, but they are going to be pushed back. Of course, with that tunneling claws, they will be able to run back, and it looks as if Del has done some great force fields there just to keep some of the roaches out of the battle there. Burrow is being used to great effect here. The cannon is now going down, so these roaches will not be spotted. As we can see here, you can see a tiny little, you can see that little black line in the dirt where the roaches are going. They pop up now and take some shots at the sentries there, removing a lot of those sentries, which is great news for Moon here. The roaches still gaining a lot of their health back. Of course, when you have the tunneling claws upgrade, they actually get all of their health back really fast. As you can see here on the units, have the rapid regeneration. One cannon is now done, a second one is going to be on the way, but it looks as if the damage has been done for the moment, and it looks as if Moon has actually decided that getting a third base up and running would be a better idea while he's doing this pressure. A couple of zealots have come across, and they are going to try and stop that from going up. Meanwhile, the roaches are being amply controlled here by Moon. He's doing a great job picking off some of the Protoss units, but an observer is out now, so there's going to be no chance for them to hide, but he is going to be able to take some shots here, and it looks as if he will be able to control the progression of this Protoss army. Meanwhile, back up here at the third base, these zealots from Del are hacking away at this expansion, and it looks as if the roaches meanwhile have come straight back into the natural, while Del was a little bit out of position here, losing those 2 cannons. As long as he's got that observer there, it won't be too much of a consequence, but it looks as if many reinforcements are coming through in the back there from Moon. He's going to make sure that he can still pummel away at this attack, at this natural expansion of Del, but Del has got a great number of sentries here. Not sentries, the stalkers here, sorry, and the stalkers of course do the bonus damage to armored units such as the roaches. So brilliant little defensive play there by Del, and he's able to actually take out the third base hatchery there, which is actually really cool. and it looks as if a drone has come along to this particular base looking to set up a third in a different spot, and it was actually spotted. And you know what was spotted by? A third base of Del, which was attempting to go up there as well, but he has cancelled it, and he is going to have to think of another plan to actually get a third base up and running. Probably the next step would be to head down to this one, or perhaps even to the Gold Rocks, which will be the next step, which would be a good position, because if he can get a couple of cannons up here, he'll be able to stop any of the roaches coming through any further, and of course he'll have the advantage of that gold base as well. So Del, meanwhile, is just chronoing out a lot of probes. As we can see on the units tab, we do have a Spire done for Moon, and he's going to have a +1 to air weapons on the way. An Overseer is being built just in case there's any DTs coming along from Del, and the +1 to missile attacks is going to be coming through soon too for the roaches. Of course, we may see a little bit of a switch to Hydras, but we do see here that some Mutalisks are coming inside the main base of Del. He is not prepared for this. Colossus is in a great amount of danger there, but it looks as if the Stalkers will come back across. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks coming down to the probe line here, and they will be able to pick off a lot of these probes. A little bit of beautiful micro there, which is a signature of the Warcraft 3 players that have currently switched over to StarCraft 2, and as we can see, another facet of that is that he's actually microing up with his units, and actually whilst he's doing that, he's actually macroing at the same time, putting up a fourth base here, and if he can get this up and running, he'll be in a very good position. And it looks as if Del is attempting to do the same thing here, trying to take that gold expansion, gets denied, and the Roachling Mutilator army is going to retreat, and because their job has been done essentially. So looks like Del is going to try and get out a few Colossi, see if he can get some of those running, and if he can, he may be able to have a little bit of a push. But the problem he's got at the moment is that with no third base up, once these units die, if they are not successful in a push, he's going to be in a lot of trouble without too much to reinforce. So he's going to have to look at perhaps taking out the rocks, securing this third base, and then perhaps making a push. But we'll see what happens. We do have a couple of Zealots back inside the third base here of Moon, and they are actually going to town on these drones. They were able to pick off 2 of the drones there, and they are going to be swamped now by some roaches, mutas, and of course the lings, and one lonely queen here who was able to take a few shots herself and was able to survive. The pylon that has caused all the trouble has finally gone down. Meanwhile, Del has decided it's time to move up, or perhaps he hasn't. Not really sure what he's up to at the moment, but I'll tell you what he is doing over here at the 3 o'clock base. He's actually getting a Nexus up, attempting to get this one up and running again. Of course, after losing that pylon, he's now a little bit supply blocked, as you can see up here. But he's going to get some more units, but he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. There is a great deal of Roachling Muta coming down, but it looks as if he's going to be well prepared. Probably want to see a little bit of a split up just to make sure these units are in a great concave, so he can actually take advantage of the fact that the Colossus have their extended thermal lance, and they do that sweeping attack that they do, which is very cool, very War of the Worlds-esque. But he's in a little bit of a dire position at the moment because this 4th base is now up and running. If we have a quick look at the economy table, we've got Moon almost a full 1,000 minerals in front. And if Del doesn't pull something out pretty quickly here, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble, or perhaps some awesome battle micro will secure some sort of lead for him, but we'll see what happens. We've got some Zerglings still controlling this this 3rd base here, and of course the Common Knowledge Hallway, but this base looks like it's got up and running. A couple of cannons will probably be needed. Of course, the one problem with taking that base is that the army is all the way over here, which is way too far to actually support if Moon decides to come inside and actually take this out. But as we can see on the supply up here, Moon is now up to 200 to 200, and he's got a little bit of a bank starting up. But we do have a battle here in the middle. It looks as if a decent concave for Moon here. The Mutalisks will go to town on the Colossus, which they are indeed doing. The one problem Del has is that whilst he has a lot of sentries, force and force fields, and guardian shields, he actually does not have the units all stuck together, so they're not going to be able to take advantage of the extra guardian shields there. The Roach is now pushing inside, and I think this may be a little bit of a push for victory here. There are a lot of Roaches, and they do have +1/+1 all done, and +2 to weapons is just a short moment away. There's the GG from Del. So great little defensive play initially from Del there, and just some great map control from Moon, taking the center and taking this sort of portion here, getting his creep tumors out and recarpeting the map, and then taking a third and fourth base, which got secured quite nicely whilst denying a third for Dell. So hopefully that was a fun game to watch. We're going to have a second game of this. I'll link it in so you can go straight to the second game, and we'll see if Dell is actually able to compete with this Korean Master of Warcraft 3 and upcoming perhaps Master of StarCraft 2. So we'll see you guys in that one. Cheers.